So the helicopter was by far the biggest part of the trip, so I decided to make a video solely about the helicopter. So we started with this like safety talk or whatever that you get before a helicopter, and then we all got on, and it was insane because like right away like we started to take off, and it didn't feel like an airplane takeoff. It was different. It was insane. Like you just started lifting and lifting and lifting, and it was shaking a lot. But like at first, well, I ended up getting sick at the end. But besides that, it felt really really cool. Emmy and Dad got the front seats, and Kylie, Mom, and I got the back. So that's kind of what it looked like to take off. We just slowly just got higher and higher and higher until we were in the air. When we flew over the city, we were so low to the ground, so you could see everything. It was so cool. There's Pearl Harbor right there. We ended up going there later that day. It was really cool to see it from above. Also, added detail, there was a double rainbow while we were up there, and it was really cool because we like flew through the rainbow. It was crazy. There's Dole Plantation. We also went there later in the day. That maze there is a bunch of pineapple plants, and it's the world's largest open-air maze. And Dole Plantation is just this ginormous pineapple plantation with a bunch of attractions like that maze. And there's those huge fields where they grow pineapples for all over the world. There are plenty of Dole pineapples even in Pennsylvania. It's so popular, but they taste so much more fresh there. It was cool to see how massive that maze was from above. Unfortunately, we did not get to go inside because it was too rainy, but it was still cool to see. Those are just some more huge pineapple fields. They stretched on for so far, but it makes sense with how many pineapples you eat in almost every single meal. Since there are so many resources in Hawaii and stuff like sun and wind and water, they appear to get energy more efficiently. Down there are some really cool looking wind mills and a solar panel field, which you would definitely not see in Pennsylvania, but it was a cool little thing down there. Since we flew in like a full circle around the island, we got to see a bunch of different views of the ocean. Down there is Waimea Bay. It is where we were planning on doing a rock jump. We'll see the rock where we're going to right there. If you see that black rock right there, that's where we're going to jump off of. But the waves, you can't really see from there, but we're just so huge and we were unable to jump there. But there's a lot of cool things to see down there. You can see down there the bonsai pipeline. Those waves there are ginormous, and we'll be visiting there tomorrow. It's pretty hard to see from above how big those waves are, but you can see how far those wash up. They're so huge, and you'll see another video of that in the future.
Trees of green and red roses too. I watched them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Well, I see skies of blue and I see clouds of
Before we move on, I would like to point out that lighthouse right there real quick. We were going to hike up to there, but we never ended up doing it. That's a really popular whale watching spot, and we actually did see a whale from the helicopter right in the water by that lighthouse. We did not get it on camera, but it was still really, really cool.
the sky. I also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, singing, "How do you do?" They really say, I love you. I hear babies cry and I watch them grow.
All right, the mountains. In my opinion, this was definitely the coolest part, but I don't know about everybody else. There are some spots that we flew over that could only be reached by helicopter. So it was really, really cool to see. It didn't really even seem real. And to add to that craziness, in our headphones there was like mystical music playing to make it seem like crazy.
Talk to Otto. And when you make your kulena, you know, pono there, it's like kind of automatic kind of. You don't need to talk the stuff going happen. And you just gotta let them, and the stuff just waiting for when you ready. And what happened?
The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, singing, "How do you do?" They really say, I love
So if you see that waterfall down there, if it rains enough in the mountains, waterfalls will just randomly form. Well, not randomly, but like they'll just form from the water running off. And it's really, really cool to see because it was raining quite a bit, so there is this waterfall there, but it's cool to see because without helicopter you'd have no idea that was there. Also, for the mountains, they are so ripply and like cool looking, and I haven't really seen that before. Like in the past when I've seen mountains, they haven't been ripply like this, and it's probably because of the fact that the island was formed by volcano and tectonic plate stuff that I learned in 7th grade that I am not repeating because I did really bad on that test. There's more of the ocean there. There were a couple really cool islands. We saw more mountains there, stuff like that. Before we get too far into these ocean views, I would like to point out Kualoa Branch. So down there, those white little things, those were Kong's parents' bones in the movie Kong Skull Island. And that's where it was actually filmed. Also in the same ranch Jurassic Park was filmed. And on the same island, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, 50 First Dates, and Hunger Games Catching Fire were all filmed. There are also many more, but those are some of the most popular. Oahu is actually really popular for filming movies because there's such like a variety of different terrains and stuff. Coming up, there are some really cool islands, and that about concluded our tour. By then, I was probably about ready to throw up, but it was definitely an experience to remember.